way. Gonna run it down. He goes with it. Adebayo for the win.
Oh yeah. Bally Sports Royal is what you can call me. With technical difficulties early on in the show. Yeah. Welcome to the 5 Reasons Sports Post Game Show, aka the Post Up on 5R. I'm your host, Royal Shepard, and I'm joined today by my man pulling double duty, Jonathan Ramlakan, as a producer and a panelist. Thank you for your job, your work. My man Ricky J. Mark, who I know is bound to come with a message that is one of consistency, something that we have lacked as a basketball.
What in the world is going on? Are we Valley?
We know what's happening right now.
Are we the Heat's half-court offense?
Of course we are. Want to say what's up to my man Brian Young. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we still got 2 members of the Kane Gang in this thing. So the second member of the Kane Gang, my man Brian Young, and Mr. Positivity himself, Ariel Latish, who has an agenda that I'm feeling frisky. I feel like listening to it a little bit now. So want to thank the primary sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Post Game Show, A Aggressive Insurance. Please visit her at insurancebylinet.com or give her a phone call at 954-581-8800. She handles all types of insurance, and she has agents already standing by. Also want to thank CPT Florida. You got to keep up, Rumlicon. We got to thank CPT Florida. If you have any IT needs for your business, please visit CPT Florida. They handle everything, really. So it's hard to go down the list, but visit the website, check them out, give them a follow on Twitter, all that good stuff and jazz. Fellas, we saw a Miami Heat game that is kind of leaving me in shambles, guys. I was told, when Bam Adebayo went out, we should have hope that when Jimmy Butler comes back, this team will be able to string together some games. Jimmy Butler came back, and then Jimmy Butler is out again. Played the Memphis Grizzlies without their best player, and we got ran off the floor for most of the night. Did not have a lead from beginning to end. Lost 105-90. Let's start with Brian. Brian.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Before I get into the basketball talk, I just want to say, because I was thinking about this during the game, that Tennessee is basically a Bass Pro Shops of the state. If you agree with me, hit the like button, subscribe, ring that so you never miss a 5 Reasons Sports video. Thank you very much. Now let's talk about this fish.
We got beat by a fish then.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're missing Bam, and I get it. Jimmy came back.
Awesome.
I knew it.
It's about time a fish won down here in
I
Miami.
know everything that I'm going to hear on this show before I'm a fucking psychic. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I'm just gonna say, I get it. Yeah, we're supposed to have hope as fans, but Jimmy wasn't really back tonight, was he? You could see. I unfortunately missed that first quarter, but from then on, Jimmy was hurt, man. This was not Jimmy Butler, and even given the fact that the Grizzlies were missing John Morant, when you're missing Bam, you have a hobbled Jimmy Butler. It's I don't know what we expect, right? This team has been handicapped for a minute. They were handicapped tonight, and they're playing a damn good team. Well, I don't know about damn good, but a pretty good team in the Memphis Grizzlies, who have won 4 straight before this game. And I know that as Heat fans, people tend to overreact, be like, we should have won this game. It's the Grizzlies without John Morant. But you know what? They probably would have won this game anyway, given the handicap. They didn't turn the ball over so damn much. I'm not worried. I'm good. This game was fine for me. I'm happy. So if Bam and Jimmy were playing, we would have won this game by 20. Whatever. You throw it away, you move on to the next one. Positivity.
Oh my
Brian,
God.
I think you enjoy pain, bro. What do they call those motherfuckers?
Yeah, he does.
A masochist?
Yeah, bro. I think you're a masochist. Thank you, Samurai Kai, Samurai Radio, Kai Chen Chisholm, whichever name you want to fucking go by for this $1.99 dono, because you keep on saying this to me, and I hate it because now that Bam is out, there is all likelihood that the Heat will go.
You're gonna get blamed for this.
Who?
Kai.
He doesn't care. He just wants my money. 19-15, baby.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Who doesn't want my money? Hey, man, tell me about it. It's Christmas time. John Mullen, thank you for the $4.99. Don't know. Said last I checked, no jaw, and they come in and roll over you at home. Nah, player.
You answer me this question: who's more important, John Morant to the Grizzlies or Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo to the Heat?
John Morant to the Grizzlies. He's their best player. He is their engine. It's not even close. The unidentified celebrity review. Thank you for the $4.99. Don't know. Duncan is a bum. As always, right on time, my guy. Thank you, Prop by Pack TV, for the $1.99. Don't know. He said we need a Heat fan group hug right now. I'm so sad. Me too.
Brother.
Kane Gricky.
Sir.
Kane, we've heard this song and dance that you're about to do before.
Mm-hmm.
But they say sometimes
the collective sigh.
Yeah, the classics never go out of style. We know, what you're about to say. But please, by all means, go ahead and say it anyway.
I mean, the Heat were outworked and outplayed by a team that played the way Miami was expected to play all season. I mean, yeah, Miami's got injuries. That's true. But they had enough to beat the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have played very well lately. And, it's very easy to be cocky about a team that you're about to play before the game. And then all of a sudden have a bunch of excuses and blaming and all that stuff once the game ends. But it's like, I mean, you got to be aware of the situation you're in. This is going to be a tough stretch for the Miami Heat, and there's really no other way around that. The more you prepare yourselves for that reality, the better it'll be. Perhaps the less emotional you'll be in the comments. I mean, I've already seen comments like, "Oh yeah, all that stuff he was talking about, Bam Adebayo." Look, Miami's lost games like this with him on the floor. Stop acting like players that come back are meant to be saviors. I mean, you should have seen some of the comments during pregame. Markieff Morris, I'm so glad he's coming back. He's going to really – he was mediocre before he earned himself he started a fight that somebody else finished.
No.
Okay, he was mediocre before that.
Ricky J. Mark.
No. This is what happened. So he's not going to be a magical savior. Look, right now, Miami needs to hope that Jimmy's not too badly injured, because this might be a recurring thing until he's really able to give himself the rest that he needs. Look, they were outworked. I said that before. Heading into tonight, Miami was matched up against a team that scored 150 points against an actual NBA team just the other day, blew them out by 70. I don't care how bad the Thunder are. It is what it is. But, hey, man, look, whatever, man. Look, this was a game that was bound to happen. They didn't play. I didn't even look at the box score. I just watched the game tonight. I just watched the fourth quarter, and I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, Kyle's doing his thing, I guess. And here we are. But, look, it's an 82-game season, and whatever.
There it is. Long season, 82-game season. Thank you, Jason Adebawale. I'm sorry, Jonathan. Thank you, Jason Adebawale, for the $1.99. Don't know. He said, Brian, keep throwing them gems till we're 10 games below 500. Hey, bro, prepare yourself.
What do we want from this team without Jimmy and Bam? Like, we want wins, obviously, but it's like, come on, guys.
They
want to be unrealistic.
It's the compete level, man.
Yeah, bro.
It's just not there.
That is fair. That's fair. But even if they
ran off your own court, bro.
Dude, they were not ready to play tonight.
No.
They were not
Given
ready
the turnovers, this game looked ugly. I'm just saying, in general, when they lose games, like I just feel like there's a bit of an overreaction to a team that
it's a post-game show. We're supposed to react on the micro level, not the macro level.
I'm trying though.
Says who?
I get it.
Says me, Jonathan
We're supposed to
Ramadan.
be the thought leaders, right?
No, Jonathan Ramadan. People should have their own goddamn brain, make their own opinions instead of relying on us for their opinions. Jonathan Ramadan, tell me your thoughts on this ridiculous ass game.
I mean, the Heat last year, we made a habit of having leads, or last season and a half, 2 seasons, we made a habit of having leads and then blowing those leads. This season, it seems like our issue is just always getting off to slow starts. I mean, I think after the score being tied at 4-4, 14-2 run by Memphis, it was Dylan Brooks and Desmond Bane that were tearing us apart. I mean, Tyler Herro, I think, had 9, and then Kyle had 10 in the first. So they were keeping us afloat. But, we just weren't able to get our offense going at all. Every time we were able to get it going, Memphis had somebody to answer back. Steven Adams in the second quarter in the third and fourth quarter. They were just hitting shots. And, man, that flagrant foul was not really a flagrant. But, I mean, after I saw Jimmy just badly linger off the game, I think it was early in the third quarter, I had a hard time believing this team was going to win the game. It seemed like everybody was deflated. PJ Tucker was in foul trouble. We were already thin in the front court. It was just a really, really tough situation for the Heat to win this game. And Memphis, give credit to where they're due. I mean, they were playing really physical. They had a ton of blocks. I mean, they're first in the league in steals and blocks. They were making it happen, forcing a bunch of turnovers. We had 15 turnovers in the first half. That's not going to help us at all. So overall, just a really poor played game. Just the effort wasn't there. Like I said in the pregame show, if Miami played lazy, we're going to lose this game. We played very, very lazy. We saw Steven Adams just tip the ball to himself a couple times, too many times this game, and that was just indicative of how this game was going. So, yeah, just tough game overall, and we just got to somehow figure out how to stay afloat in the next couple weeks without Jimmy and Bam.
Yeah, you made a point about Ricky made a point about not looking at the box score, and if you did look at this box score, you would actually believe some of Miami's team played well. Mm-hmm. Like there weren't terrible shooting percentages out there outside of Jimmy Butler. I mean, you have to look at the turnovers to see where this game was really shitted on and watch it to know. Like, this is one of those games that you had to watch to know that Miami played terribly. Ariel, sorry. Give me your thoughts on the game, bro, like before we just start moving in different topics.
I mean, they just weren't ready to play, right? You come out and right from the jump, you get smacked. You know, a lot of people will point to the fact that the Grizzlies were on fire from three. If you look at their end of game numbers, they shot well, but they didn't shoot like, you know, it wasn't earth shattering. They shot like 38 or 39% from three. It's very good. But there's a reason that you're making so many threes. It's not like they're hitting a bunch of tough contested step back threes with a hand in their face. They're getting good looks. They're just moving the ball. They're penetrating. The Heat aren't able to stop dribble penetration. And then the driver's spraying the ball. There's a skip pass, and it's a wide open three every single time. And the Heat, among other issues, have had that issue consistently over the course of the last few weeks. Another one of their issues has been that they've started games slowly. Like, how many times I need to start a running count of this because I haven't done it, and I think I'm going to go back and watch the games and come back next time and let y'all know how many of the last few games the Heat have had to call the first time out, something that our guy Sean Rochester talks about all the time, having to call the first time out in the first quarter. Or the third quarter, but in this case, in the first quarter, where you're trailing by 6, 8, 10 points right off the jump because they can't score and they can't stop anybody. So I think this is one of those games where, like, I think they thought that they would, you know, just get Jimmy back and start running everything through him. And you could see, like, as soon as he's back, as soon as he's on the court, like, the ball's going through him. They're force feeding him. Like, everything's going through Jimmy, and he just didn't look ready. I don't think he should have been out there tonight. And the team looked discombobulated and disjointed as a result. So, yeah, they weren't ready to play. Focus wasn't there. They got killed on the boards. Tons of careless turnovers for no reason. And you're leaving shooters open all night long. It's a recipe for disaster. And I don't want to talk about injuries. I don't think this is one of those games where, I mean, the other team's missing their best player. They're about to win their fifth straight. They just won their fifth straight game. Like, at a certain point, you should get it done, man. You sink or swim. You find a way to get it done, and the Heat didn't.
Yeah, I said this last game, bro. I don't want to hear about no culture and no guts and shit like that. Like, if you gonna come out here and play like this, bro. Like, if you gonna play like this, don't talk to me about culture. Don't talk to me about no fucking guts, bro. I don't want to hear it, bro. Because
culture.
Because outside of, like, what's the culture? Like, what is it, bro? If you're going to play hard, then play hard every game. And then at least this game not looking like this. Thank you, HM, for the $5 dono. In the words of Gadiel Cartagena, I hope you're having a good night. He said, flat out bullied on the home floor again. Rotten effort, man. No one wanted it tonight. Spo has to figure it out. 20-plus turnovers is just embarrassing. Yes, there were a couple of issues that come to mind when I think about this game. Thank you, Nick Ordonez, for the $2 dono. He said at least Yurt played. He's adjusting to NBA speed. Unfortunately, his body can't move at NBA speed. Thank you, Jason Adebwale, for the $9.99 dono. You are a man amongst men tonight, my brother. He said we're getting worked on the boards, but Spo kept poor PJ at the 5. We losing by almost 20 points per game in our last 5 games. We can lose, but damn, don't get demolished. We have injuries, but Spo got to figure it out. I think Spo deserves his fair share of criticism for the way that he's managed this. Let's actually get into a little bit of that, and that's the downsizing. We saw Yurt be kind of effective. Hey, y'all keep giving me money. Y'all going to keep interrupting the conversation, but I will keep doing this. Thank you, John Mullen, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said confused on some of the lineups. Lowry played 40 minutes. Strus had 6. This is what we got to talk about. Let's talk about
December. It's 1S.
Sure. We want to talk.
Y'all know his name by now.
I want to talk about Spo and the rotations that he's kind of been having going on because in this game in particular, he decided to play small as opposed to going to Yurt a little bit earlier. Yurt was effective in some ways, not effective in others, but I think he gave us generally more from that spot than PJ did in those limited minutes that he was playing at it. So I want you guys to each pick a topic about what you felt Spo did well or what he didn't do well, and just kind of expand on that. Ricky, you can go first, bro.
Look, I think at this point, when you look at the fact that he did have to go small, this is small ball, positionless basketball is something that's defined Eric Spoelstra's tenure since 2008 when he started coaching. Okay, that's 1. 2, I can understand why he would want to choose this option because when you look at what Miami has in terms of their bigs, you have Dedmon and you have Yurtseven, who is not quite ready. In spurts, he can give you what, a little bit of production on a good day, but he's not something that can sustain itself for a while. Dwayne Dedmon didn't play basketball for a year before he was signed, I think earlier this calendar year, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. There's only so much you can get out of him, right? So I think small ball, it's easy for Spo to go to that. And look, if it turns out that he's got no other choice but to trust a veteran like PJ with big minutes, then that's what he's going to have to do. But the roster's thin. I mean, we know what Eric Spoelstra can do with a lot of talent or even moderate talent, right? If he doesn't have much to work with, given injuries and all that other stuff, and maybe even other personnel issues, it is what it is. I mean, I think Spo deserves some criticism because he perhaps takes too long to adjust during the game, but not over the course of games. But at this point, it's a circular thing. For me, it just goes back to the fact that there's only so much you can work with before, pain.
So question to everything says Steven Adams and Jackson are both 7-footers playing together. Triple J is a 7-foot shooter.
Yeah, he does exactly.
He's out there. He's out there to shoot threes, bro. We had the conversation off camera, but Ariel, I think I agree with Gad. After watching him tonight, Brian,
give him some time.
Yeah, maybe, but damn. But Brian, what was your biggest issue, or what was the biggest praise that you want to give the Spo tonight?
I think my biggest praise, and part of it is
of course you're
literally. I'm being positive today, man. I said on Twitter, today's only positivity.
You're
on camera. On camera.
Okay.
But I really like the PJ at the 5 lineup. Like at the end of that second quarter, man, they made a run. It wasn't bad.
Bro,
I think that
15 goddamn rebounds.
Well, PJ Tucker is 6'5", so
Sure, that's my point.
But they
6'5" and 36 years old.
With PJ at the 5, they did make a run for a little bit. When Triple J was their 5 was their only big out there. PJ looked good, man. Like I think that you probably would have liked to see Spo try Yurtseven a little bit earlier. He was successful-ish. Again, being diplomatic, he had good moments, right? I think in a night where Steven Adams was as dominant, I mean, the guy looked like Wilt tonight, as he was. You kind of want to throw different looks at him, but in that one run in the second quarter, I did like that lineup, and then they put at the
You are shameless, my guy.
Pain.
Thank you, Alex Campbell.
Absolutely, I have an agenda to push.
What's supposed to do with 5 dead roster spots? Ariel Latias? I'm not going to force anybody to answer this question because that is a conversation that is coming and it is approaching rapidly. And I want to get ahead of the curve, but I'm not. I'm going to let the guys at 5 on the floor start that before we bring it over here. Thank you, Jason Adebale, for the $4.99. Don't know. Say the whole point of playing small ball is to switch.
No, not necessarily.
But we still can't stand in front of no one. So what's the point? Can't get blown by and also lose rebounds. Yeah, I think the point of playing small ball sometimes is to space the floor out a little bit more so that you can create driving lanes for ball handlers and stuff like that and space them out with shooters. But sure, there is a point there. Thank you, Renee Blanc, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, I'm so glad you guys addressing Spo today and not just the players. Spo plays a part also in what's been going on. Oh, for sure. Like we've talked about Spo before, but I don't think we talk about him nearly enough on this show. And so I kind of want to try and start moving in that direction. So, Ariel, before we get any more donuts, before I talk too much, I want to talk about Spo tonight. What were some of the things you liked? What were some of the things that you didn't like from him?
So as for, maybe wanting to see Omer Yurtseven earlier in the game and, the decision to go with smaller lineups and have PJ at the 5, I mean, you're doing that because you don't really trust Omer Yurtseven to play meaningful NBA minutes. I know he had a good stretch against Domantas Sabonis, but at the same time, the coaching staff, Eric Spoelstra, the team, they're, behind the scenes. They know what Yurtseven is capable of much better than we do. And I don't like to, say, just, give Eric Spoelstra, give the coaching staff the benefit of the doubt every single time. Sometimes we're on to something, but I think this is one of those cases. I will say, though, that my biggest issue with Spo tonight and some of the rotation decisions were in the second half, you only score 41 points. You go into halftime down double digits. You go into the fourth quarter also down double digits, if I remember correctly. You get down by a good amount. They extend their lead, the Grizzlies do, in the fourth quarter. And you need scoring. Like, you're having a hard time scoring. And it takes until the 3 or 4 minute mark of the fourth quarter for Max Strus to enter the game. You don't see a second of Duncan Robinson in the fourth quarter, which I mean, we know what Duncan's been this season, but you need shooting, and none of those guys are on the court. Tyler's out there on an island. Kyle Lowry, I know he had 17 or whatever he had tonight. For the most part, it felt like he was a traffic cop to me. And so I just
Let me also add that Tyler didn't come in until 5 minutes left in the third quarter, which I thought was super. You only played 28 minutes tonight. Not to get off my positive shit, but you would think he would have played near 40 minutes tonight when they're struggling to score.
So I totally agree with you. I think the reasoning for that is Spo knows that Jimmy isn't coming back, and he's probably going to ride Tyler the entire rest of the game from when he checks in. But you're right, like 28 minutes or whatever he played tonight. I mean, he should have played like 36 minutes tonight. He was by far the Heat's best player tonight. Like, without a doubt, he was their best player. And they're by far their number one source of offense. So I don't know at what point we're going to maybe have to transition this to another conversation, but I agree with you. He probably should have played more tonight.
He put up the most meaningless points I've ever seen in my fucking life, Eric.
In the first quarter, they were down like 12 or 14 at the first timeout that the Heat called because they again couldn't score to start the game. Tyler checks in, and all of a sudden they at least make it respectable. They start scoring.
What's been the difference between this game and the rest of the ones that he's been starting without Jimmy?
Sorry?
What's the difference? What's the difference between this game and the rest of the ones that he was starting without Jimmy? Like, why?
Jimmy was there tonight.
Sure, was he?
Right.
Well, okay, I hear you. That's whether he should have been there is another conversation. Right. But that's why he wasn't starting.
Okay, so you're talking about starting him in place of Duncan Robinson. Let's get to the conversation.
Yeah, not in place of Jimmy, if that's what you're getting at.
No, obviously, but you start him in place of Duncan Robinson. This is the common question that has kept coming up. Where does the bench scoring come from? And I know you're going to give us the staggering argument. Okay, go
bleep the bench scoring. I don't give a crap. Like, I don't care what is it? Why is it more? Why? I don't give a poop. Why is it more important to get scoring off the bench when you have to call the first timeout every single time because you're already down double digits, and then Tyler has to come in and save us? Why wouldn't you want to be in a good spot heading into that first timeout from the jump? I don't understand.
Okay, so I don't want to be the sole person going back and forth with you, so I'm going to let everybody jump in on that kind of question after I read these donos. Thank you, Prop by Pack TV, for the $1.99 dono. He said, "Do we release UD?"
Yeah, the first guy is not getting released ever.
How dare you?
Whatever.
You can take that off the screen.
Can we refund it?
Yes, please. You can have your money back. Thank you, Dan the Film Jet, for the $5 dono. He said, "At least the highlight was Tua showing up in the house tonight. Too bad it had to be this disaster of a game."
He's used to seeing bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I want you guys to kind of weigh in a little bit. I don't really like this conversation, but we're gonna have it. Ramlakan, you haven't talked in a long time. Do you agree? Do you think Tyler Herro should be inserted to the starting, or is it time to switch him to the starting lineup?
Yeah, I do think it's time. I think when this lineup is at full power and you have Jimmy Butler back and you have Bam Adebayo back, he's only going to supplement everything else to make those guys better, right? When Duncan is hitting shots, it's great. Sure, everything is spaced out, but his type of gravity is just 3-point shooting gravity. Tyler Herro gravity is 3-level scoring gravity, where people have to respect him, whether he's driving, whether he's at the top of the key, no matter what he's doing. So I think, like Ariel said, and like what Sean Rochester talks about having to call the first timeout, this season, we're always going down and digging ourselves a hole. And when we get into the playoffs, that can't be something that happens, because you're going to be playing against elite level teams with elite scorers who can keep leads. So I think it's going to be, really key for us to start off games with just a lot more scoring, and you'll have another release valve, right? You'll have 4 guys out there that can score. You'll have, we talked about pregame, somebody who can get tough buckets in Jimmy Butler, and somebody who can make hard shots in Tyler Herro. So now you'll have both of those guys out there. You'll have Kyle Lowry directing everything, and you'll have Bam Adebayo just kind of holding everything else together as kind of the glue guy. So I think it's a good formula to success. I don't see what we could possibly lose by doing it, right? You send maybe Jimmy to the bench early, you get him some rest, and you have Herro, Kyle, and Bam out there. You send Herro to the bench, you pull Jimmy back, and you send out some of the other guys out there. You have Jimmy with the bench lineup, right? So now you have Jimmy in the bench lineup running things out there, and you're fine to go. So I'm fine with bringing Herro and starting him now, and you can still have a Duncan, Jimmy, and then whoever off the bench, and that's going to be your bench lineup, and it'll still work out fine.
So I want to make myself perfectly clear. The bench lineup, the bench argument is one argument. My primary argument for this conversation is that the people that we should be holding accountable, i.e. Kyle Lowry, Jimmy, and Bam, are going to use Tyler Herro as a crutch, as a reason to defer and not be as aggressive offensively. That is my primary gripe with starting Tyler Herro, because they do it every time he's in the game anyway. But brother Ricky J. Mark, where are you? Do you think it's time to start Tyler Herro?
I think given some of the injury problems that Jimmy Butler's been dealing with before and right now, I think you continue to start him, because Miami needs help in that starting lineup. I think it was both Ramlakan and Ariel that mentioned the holes that Miami continues to dig itself into. Maybe it was Ramlakan mentioning Sean Rochester. I think that might have been it. Y'all could correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But yeah, I think he should start while Jimmy's hurt or while he's working his way back, because at this point I don't really know how else to supplement that starting lineup with offense. Because
I want to make sure
this is going the wrong way.
I want to make sure that we don't get too far off track. It was
am I misunderstanding the question? My bad.
Yeah, we're talking about starting Tyler Herro in place of Duncan Robinson, not when Jimmy's healthy. Yeah,
say Jimmy's back, and then going forward,
and then,
right?
Duncan out of the starting lineup.
So I'm kind of hesitant to do that, because I liked what I saw out of Tyler when this team was actually at a respectable level of strength. And that also included Bam playing well and being healthy and aggressive, and everybody handling their business. I would make the switch a little bit later on in the season, the closer we get to the playoffs. So Tyler will have time to get reps as a starter, like consistent real reps as a starter next to the main guys. If, for example, someone like Victor Oladipo is able to come back and provide something off the bench, because I am no longer depending on Duncan Robinson to give some sort of consistent offensive production. So if Victor Oladipo is able to do that, I'd be much more comfortable with starting Tyler, because then you have the lineup you always wanted to begin with. You have Kyle, Tyler, Jimmy, PJ, and then Bam. Hopefully he comes back all right. And then you just go. I think it depends on who we're able to replace the bench scoring with, because you got to have a balanced attack throughout the quarter, not just for the first 5 minutes.
Brian is the king. Where are you? Do you think it's time to start Tyler Herro over Duncan Robinson?
By merit, yeah. I think that on most other teams.
In a fucking blender.
Yeah, no, I know this is tough, but yeah, by merit, absolutely. Like, I'm not even worried about Tyler Herro's fit as far as Bam or Kyle, feeling like they have to defer to him. Like, if they feel that that's necessary, then cool. Like, Tyler has been an amazing scorer this season, and if Bam or Kyle is passing up a shot to give it to Tyler Herro, it's probably a damn good shot. I don't want to use the E word, but Tyler Herro's off-ball movement is so damn good. It's not just him running off of screens, though he can do that. He is so good at recognizing when his defender is going to the ball and then finding wide open space where he has really smart passes that are going to get him the ball back, and he's shooting an open shot. It feels like, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number, like 40% of his shot, probably not that high, but you get my point. Like, I think that he can really, really play very well off of Bam, Tyler, and Jimmy in that starting lineup. But again, that's the merit argument. I don't know that sending Duncan to the bench would be good for his psychology or for his trade value, which is a conversation that I'm not trying to have right now.
Who cares about his psychology?
Seriously, like
he's not scoring. He's paid to hit threes.
Trying to win a championship, man. Like,
no, I get it.
Ooh, trade rumors.
You're gonna have Duncan Robinson. You're gonna have Duncan Robinson on the bench, not being able to be traded.
Right, and that's the problem, especially if you're trying to get something of value. Yeah. So that's the issue. Outside of that, yeah, you start Tyler. I'm saying that because you need Duncan to provide some sort of value, either as a player of this team or as a player potentially somewhere else, it just makes the conversation harder.
Yeah, so Ariel, I heard you say under your little breath that I'm on an island. Like, I give a fuck. Like,
you think I've known you. I know you.
Hey, you got the grill on that island, King? I'm gonna have to slide. You got the grill on the island. I'm gonna have to slide through.
Listen, you always invited to the barbecue, King.
Always lit. Let me get my keys.
So check me out, bro. Listen, it's not to say that this argument isn't warranted for the Tyler Herro to start over Duncan Robinson thing. I just believe that there is no value for it in the Duncan side of it. Like, there is nothing that we gain from sending Duncan Robinson to.
It doesn't help him.
It doesn't help him. It doesn't help us. Like, where can you trade? How does it help us? Like,
well, it helps. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Because now everybody has to play 40 goddamn minutes in order to make this work.
No.
The
minute distribution doesn't necessarily have to change. This is literally just about starting games better.
Okay, so why not approach it like you did tonight, where Duncan has an extremely short leash, and then you just bring Tyler right in anyway?
Well, you did, and you were down 10 at the first time out because you couldn't score. You had 6 points like 6 minutes into the quarter.
And that's a problem that everybody automatically assumes that Tyler Herro is going to fix.
No, but it's a potential solution. Why not try it? How many times are you going to go through the same song and dance where you can't score to start the game? It's happened so many times. I feel like it's happening almost every game.
But it's also happened in the opposite form where we're losing close games with that exact same lineup. Ricky, I know you got a point that you want to make.
Yeah, I am curious. How often would that necessarily happen with Jimmy and Kyle and Bam at full strength, where Duncan's potentially the reason Duncan not scoring is the reason why Miami's down 10? I mean, because I feel like that starting lineup on the basis of just the talent that we have there at full strength, there's no reason why we should be down with 5 minutes left in the
It wasn't happening.
Well, I will say this:
season, weren't they didn't they average like 30 points in the first quarter?
Crazy? When they were 6-1.
Defense was historic,
but it wasn't happening. That's the thing, bro.
I will say this though: Duncan Robinson's supposed to be your, doesn't need the ball in his hands spacer for that first 5. He's also shooting like 33% from 3 this season. Tyler Herro's at 39% and over 40% on catch and shoot threes. So if you want to talk about fit within the starting 5, he fits right now. Statistically, you look at the profile of the player, he fits better than Duncan Robinson fits with the first 5.
That is fine. But let's get to my real point, which is it's kind of letting Kyle and Bam and Jimmy.
I agree with that.
When it's time to get aggressive on offense. Like, these guys are paid and tasked with leading our team, and adding Tyler to that starting lineup gives them a bailout option for sure. Like,
is that a bad thing? Though?
They need to be better, but it's not
shots.
Is it a bad thing? Like, because then we're gonna then Tyler Herro might as well be our highest paid player.
He will be soon. No, seriously though.
This is a different conversation, but he's going to be making a lot of money. Very soon.
Look, you're right that those guys have to be better. Your best players have to be better.
What you said?
I was saying, does nobody think this could potentially help Duncan Robinson, because now you're taking some pressure off of his shoulders? I'm not saying that it will. I'm saying, potentially you're taking a bunch of pressure off of his shoulders. The opposing team doesn't know when he's going to come in, and now they're going to have to adjust to him coming in, instead of just having somebody, hey, stick to him and don't let him shoot threes, right? Now you have to wait for somebody to come in to actually adjust to him coming in. I think maybe he comes in, I'm not saying, like I said, for sure, there obviously could have adverse effects, but there is a potential where I think this could help him. he can come in off the bench, find his rhythm, get 1 or 2 shots to go, late in the first quarter, early in the second, and find a rhythm from there. And he can give you 5 or 6 off the bench. Like, why not?
Nah,
why not try it is the whole point. Like, there's a clear issue in the early portion of the game. Duncan's struggling as is. Why wouldn't you try it? Tyler Herro's your best scorer
because you cannot
every time Jimmy's not out there.
Because you cannot go back from it once you try it.
So why, Ariel?
Why?
I got a question for you when you're done.
The same way you went to it. You just like, why can't you go back to it? I don't get that.
I just don't think you can.
This is a professional basketball organization. It's not a nursery. Like, you do what you have to do. If you think it can help the team,
we're sitting here making excuses for why these grown ass old geezers can't get their shit together.
They need to be better. I agree with you. I agree. That's not.
Yeah, but y'all
these are not
21-year-old kid out there.
Nah, man.
Them, bro.
These are not mutually exclusive arguments.
That's what it is, though. Y'all want to throw this 21-year kid out there to save them from being shit on offense, and I want them to get their shit together.
Okay, but
and let Tyler continue to flourish in the role that he has been flourishing in all season.
I get that, but why don't you think that it's at least possible that Tyler Herro would help bump those other guys up with him, and that they don't go into every first timeout trailing by 8 or 10 points?
Because we continuously see them play with Tyler Herro. When Kyle Lowry is not looking to shoot the ball anyway. When he penetrates, he's looking to pass. Jimmy, we dealt with that in his first year, a little bit last year. He's become more aggressive this year, but when Tyler's in the game with him, he's looking for Tyler. Bam is never looking to shoot the damn ball. So he's out. Like, everybody is going to be looking for Tyler if you insert him into that lineup. For good or for bad. I'm not saying that he won't produce in that role. I'm saying that we should put more onus on Bam, Jimmy, and Kyle Lowry to get their shit together offensively and lead this team the way that they're paid to do. Not rely on
I agree. Look, in a nutshell, I agree with that side of the argument. I don't think that it's also mutually exclusive, and I don't think that you can't also put your second best scorer in the first 5 when the guy that he'd be replacing is just not getting it done for you, and see what happens. Like, I don't see why those two things can't be together.
It's a fair argument, bro. It's a fair argument. I think I might be projecting what I believe would happen.
What if it were Victor Oladipo and not Tyler Herro? I'm just trying to see something.
If Victor Oladipo was inserted into the starting lineup,
I'm with that.
So Tyler
Herro,
so Tyler Herro still comes off the bench.
I'm asking Royals specifically. Yes.
Yeah. It depends on how Victor Oladipo's playing. If Victor Oladipo can carry the bench in a similar way that Tyler Herro's been able to, then I don't mind. Those two are reversible to me in terms of who you place into the starting lineup.
Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to add the quick I'm not, my whole thing on this, and I've been trying to have this conversation a lot recently, is not that like it needs to happen right now. It's something that I think is probably going to happen, if not by the end of this season, then by next season for sure. But I think it's worth having. It's a discussion worth having. And whether or not Victor Oladipo comes back, like, I still do want to give Duncan an opportunity to continue getting out of this slump. He's had, some bright moments in the last couple of games, but if it doesn't have to happen right now, but I mean, like, I feel like at a certain point, we're getting to this point where one of those two issues, either Duncan needs to start producing within that first 5, or they need to stop getting their asses kicked from the jump.
Yeah. So I want to read these donos right quick. Thank you, Christian Carduce, for the $1.99. Duncan is Spo, JB, Kyle, and Bam's biggest crutch. Yes, he is. There was another dono up there that I missed. After Christian Curtis. Thank you, Jason Adebale, for the $1.99. Don't know. He said, F the bench score. We outscored the Grizz bench.
It's so overrated. It doesn't matter if you get 25 points from your 5 starters each, that's 125 points. Doesn't matter where it comes from.
No, I get it, bro. But it's like there's absolutely no balance, and that bench becomes way too inconsistent. Daniel Rutledge, thank you for the $1.99. Don't know. He said, Jimmy is so fragile now, unfortunately. I want to hold off on saying something like that, saying something that hyperbolic. John Mullen, thank you for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, Spo is the king of guys knowing their role. He won't just start trying things.
That's true. He doesn't just throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. That's
like
true.
Shit has to go wrong for Spo to start doing that. Ricky, I felt like we've kind of left you in the dark a little bit too long right now.
No, we good. We good. I'm liking this.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like let Ricky speak.
Yeah,
no, it's fine. That's hilarious. So Ariel, I got two things came to mind during that exchange, which I did enjoy. Bringing Duncan off the bench in place of Tyler. What lineup can you paint a picture for me in terms of the lineup you'd have there? Because I'm just trying to picture how a team would game plan for Duncan. Because honestly, I'm not really worried about Duncan in terms of how we can stop him. You know what I mean? So what would be a 5 that you could see with Duncan as he comes off the bench? Because I know
Yeah.
you're big on staggering, and I'm the same way. That's
Yeah.
one, and I'll go to the other.
He would. I mean, he's coming in for one of Tyler or Kyle probably. Jimmy's continuing to play your first 12 minutes of the game, right? And then Kyle and Bam become the stagger guys. So one or both of those guys are coming out of the game, and Duncan comes in as the other guard next to Tyler, next to Jimmy. He's usually going to be playing within like the same lineups he's playing in now. It's just they're going to come at different times in the game.
Okay. So next up, with regards to, I think you mentioned something about Duncan. Yeah, I want to let Duncan figure it out and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't believe, and I believe the front office might agree with me on this. Of course, I don't claim to be some insiders. We all know who the insiders are in this network.
I'll let you know if you're on something. I got you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. You see, the reason why I don't think the leash will be as long for Duncan Robinson, even with the contract, is because Jimmy Butler is going to be 33 and 34 years old very soon. Kyle Lowry, the guy that Miami paid, I think $90 million during the offseason, anywhere between 85 and 90 million for 3 years. Yeah. $85 million this offseason for 3 years. He turns 36 in March and then 37 the following March. If we're worried about him now, and I don't want to sound like a broken record with regards to age and injuries and everything, but one piece of your big 3 is turning 36 next March and then 37 the following year. Okay. The other part of the big 3 and maybe look, I'm ready for the Flames, right? No pun intended, but I hope we didn't get the best of Jimmy Butler, given all the injuries that he's dealing with right now, the fact that he's getting a little older, the fact that he had a lot of tread on his tires heading into Miami to begin with. I mean, I don't know if this Heat team has the privilege of waiting to see for more than a few more months to see if Duncan Robinson can get his act together, because right now, the way this roster is currently constructed, it's either win this season and maybe thoughts and prayers next season, because after that, Jimmy's hitting 35, Lowry's knocking on the door of 40, and that's 2 of your big 3. And then
it's Tyler and Bam's team at that point.
Right, but even look at what we have now out of Lowry. Add that by 2, and once you hit a certain age, and arguably you can argue that once you hit 32, it multiplies in terms of your decline. It could be ugly. And
You're spot on.
That's not the case.
You're spot on, and they've done what Riley and his teams have done. In the past, they did that in the 05 offseason, where they essentially pushed all the chips in and moved in on an older roster with the goal of winning a championship this season or the next. And then after that, You're right, it's a little murky. Those guys are getting older. They're going to be paid. Well, that's another discussion, but those guys are older. These guys are getting older. They're highly paid. 2 years from now, like if you don't win a championship this season or next, at the very least, Lowry becomes an expiring contract. You've hopefully moved Duncan by then, but I hear you.
You cook.
06, 07 was ugly.
Cook. Thank you, somebody, for the $5 donut. Offense is not the problem. You're not going to win games with 23 turnovers, giving 16 offensive rebounds.
You do know turnovers happen on offense, right? Okay,
that's a lot of
extra defenders are hurt. Like, remember the way this Heat team was at the start of the season? They were unbelievable. They were arguably the best defense in the league. This Heat team is not whole right now. Bam Adebayo, your talisman, is out with a thumb injury. He won't be back until February or something like that, or January after the All-Star break?
Listen, man, I'm tired of listening to this same song and dance, bro. Brian, go ahead and jump in here and give me a little bit more of this tap dancing music, baby. I already know you on your bullshit too.
No, I got nothing to say, man. I already said my piece. Listen, until this team is whole, I'm going to keep giving excuses. It is what it is. Someone has to be positive. We can't all just be negative, guys. Someone has to bullshit.
We can all be real with ourselves. That's what we can be. Even though I'm about to be the most unrealistic motherfucker on this panel, because next up we have the Milwaukee Bucks, and we're probably going to be without Jimmy Butler again. No Bam Adebayo, relying on the couch. Somebody said, let Jonathan speak. Sure. Let's start with Jonathan Ramakan. Ramakan, the boy feeling good about the Bucks?
The boy feeling not so good. Yeah. It's just a tough ask. I mean, no Jimmy. If the Bucks get back Giannis and we don't have Jimmy.
He's back, by the way.
Yeah.
he is.
Well, there you go. So
We get more respect though.
Oh, okay. In that case, the boy feeling good. He's gonna blow this shit out.
Exactly. King Ricky, the boy feeling good.
No. I'm not. Look, this isn't me trying to jinx the Bucks into losing to Miami. It's no. Miami's not in a good state right now. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be tough. You're going to get a couple wins here and there where, culture, they're back. No. The Bucks are trending a little bit higher right now. And if I'm not mistaken, they got Giannis. Look, no, just stop. Don't do this. Don't fall into this cocky Heat fan trap where you think you've got a chance. I tried warning y'all before the playoffs last year. Y'all called me a Knicks fan and tried to troll me because they lost at the Gar. Okay, yeah, they did great, but guess what? They won one more game. Like, I'm not even trying to do that. Like, I was telling y'all, Game 3, I think the house is burning down. Oh, no, you're not being positive. I was realistic. They got blown out again. I don't take pleasure in this. I don't. Please, just listen. Go into this game. Try to enjoy a professional basketball game. Don't expect a miracle, okay? Just if they win, cool, great. Long season. If they lose, whatever. We'll be here after the game regardless. We'll be spending some time with you.
To hell with you and your realism. I don't give a fuck about that shit, Ricky. I don't care.
Somebody's got to.
No,
this is on the record.
Brian, I don't.
See, I'm gonna be the most realistic person.
5 reasons sports. Somebody's on the record. Nobody watches
900 away from whatever milestone.
This is true. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe to this channel, bro, because we almost had some benchmark that Ethan told us. Ethan also told me to tell y'all something that I'm gonna tell y'all after this. Brian, the boy feeling good?
Yeah, the boy feeling great. I'm gonna be crazy realistic. Tyler Herro's gonna have 40. Caleb Barnes is gonna have a career game. My Yurtseven's probably gonna look like a decent NBA player against the Bucks. It's gonna be fantastic. And if they lose, I'm gonna have a million excuses.
I'm still waiting on that KZ money from the summer.
I told you at some point in the future to be determined later.
Says. That boy like Osiris now with little baby. Oh, and that man money won't give him his shit.
Someone can come take it from me.
Some people ain't gonna get that reference on this panel, but I do not care. Area T is the boy feeling
used to
good.
work for the feds, right?
I will say, look, the boy's not feeling good. This is one of maybe like less than 3 times that I've ever said that I'm not feeling good about the next game on here. But I'm not feeling good this time around. Let's be real, guys. Like,
thank you.
The Bucks just kicked the crap out of the Heat the other night, and they're going to have Giannis on Wednesday. Tyler Herro, maybe in another game he'll get that 40 piece. Like, I do think he's got a couple in him this season, but he's seeing Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton all night and some Wesley Matthews. Like, you're not he can't do it if Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo aren't out there taking some of the defensive attention.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, man, that's probably an L. That's a scheduled L. But I'll tell you what, after the Heat get killed in that game, I am not going to be on here, as angry as I was tonight, freaking out, none of that stuff, because that's an L. Like, the Heat had every right. Like, they should have been in tonight's game. There was no excuse to getting their doors blown off. The Milwaukee game is an L, guys. Let's not freak out. It's a long season. They will get healthy eventually, and they need to peak at the right time. You want to peak in March. You don't want to peak in December. That's that.
Again, y'all and y'all realism can go to hell.
Where's the tongue action there? Look at that.
I don't give a fuck about your realism. The Heat about to blow that shit out. Fuck is you talking about? Daniel Rutledge with the 199. Probably truest statement of all night. Giannis probably gonna have 30 rebounds. Easy. With a 60 burger. You know it. Thank you, somebody. The Heat are dead men walking with dead men starting. I like that.
Yeah, are they like 4-2 with Deadman as a okay, I'll stop.
Not a chance. But listen,
leave that one alone, Aaron.
No, listen. The Heat are going to win this game because why in the hell not? Like, it feels like a Heat win coming.
Do you want us to answer? Why the hell not?
I feel like if Michael Jordan could drop 40 against a team like this, why can't Tyler Herro?
Man.
Whoa, hold on a second, man. What are we doing?
I can think of
what are we doing?
At least one reason.
Oh man. No.
Hey, yo,
Don't
hey,
you
right on
dare.
cue. As
Take
soon
What's
that.
as-
happening? Yeah,
I believe
as-
that.
Listen, no, don't block him.
That's
Bro,
way
good.
too much positivity for
No,
me.
no, bro.
I'm disgusted with myself, if I'm being
Listen, bro,
honest.
as soon as I did my little song thing, the little porny bot started coming in the comments, bro. They knew what time it was. All right, so 49 minutes. That means we still got more shit to talk about. What else y'all want to talk about, bro? Like,
We talk about Omer Yurtseven
sure.
Why?
Right? Because
because you know
because
what?
his funeral is on Wednesday. If he actually is playing in that game, he's going to get
Greatest
killed.
Turkish player in NBA history.
I disagree with the earlier comment that Yurtseven looked like he was getting up to NBA speed because absolutely not. But he looked like a decent rim
Didn't you say
protector
that?
for a couple of possessions.
Yeah,
And he had-
you say that?
That wasn't me.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
What? I said he looked okay-ish. There was a comment that said
Jonathan,
that he was
did you say no? It was a panelist. Jonathan,
Run,
did you say
Kendall,
that Omer
run.
Yurtseven was getting up to NBA speed? Because I really think it was Brian, but
No, it was legitimately
it
a
wasn't
comment.
me, it was somebody else.
It was a
Right.
comment that no, it
Oh,
wasn't.
it was a comment. It was a comment.
Absolutely not.
we're gonna have to run this back. I'm gonna
Oh,
run
for
this back.
sure. Don't worry about it. That's why this shit is
Yeah, I will actually bet money on this. Whoever wants to bet money, listen, let me know. I'm down.
Money.
But-
You ain't good for it.
No, I am. I'm just not paying you. That's the difference.
Oh, you
But-
can
Oh,
figure it out.
well.
Okay. There's some
But here's-
handfuls
here's-
down
here's
here
the-
in South Florida. 5, 6, 8. What you mean?
I'm encouraged by Yurtseven. And you know what? I expected them to spend the entire season in the G League, but I feel like at this point with Bam out, you have to try something. There's going to be games where Deadman is decent, but Yurtseven is basically your best big off the bench. So
Yeah,
I was
Detroit.
slightly encouraged by the way he played tonight.
This team is
Yurtseven
old.
is their big best.
Yeah,
best
you,
bench.
you,
I-
this
it's-
team old as shit, bro.
I mean, without Morris, Morris, but
Dude, Markieff Morris being your best big on the bench isn't that much better.
no, it's
Like,
not.
bro.
That's a problem.
It's
Yeah,
yeah.
you're an
You
enforcer.
need Bam. This is for all
Yeah.
the commenters, everybody who interacts on Twitter, even just people I talk to in real life who, that right there, 100%, like who, take Bam for granted, say he's not a max player, he's too soft, he's too this, he's too that. Listen, man, you're going to feel the absence here, like in these next 4 to 6, 8 weeks, whatever it is, because they can't
feel it
switch
every other
those
night.
No, you don't, because you can actually, like, the Heat are limited now to playing 1.5 styles of defense. You play the drop all the time, and then when you go to zone, you don't have Bam on the back line of the zone. So now your zone's not as good as it was before either, and you can't
it's tougher-
switch.
It's tougher for Deadman and Yurt to play the zone too because
Oh
they
my
cannot
God.
move like Bam.
You're just lost in the zone. Lost.
No, that man is a
Lost.
stiff. That man is a stiff. He's It's not fun to watch him, but again, they literally have no other option outside of playing UD or KZ at the 5.
There it is.
You have to take the good moments of your 7.
There
There's
what
literally
is
no
Ricky
choice.
J. Mark.
Let's not. Let's just not.
I'm
No.
just
Let's
saying.
what there what is, brother. Go ahead and speak your piece.
Oh, of course.
Brother
I'm a
Chairman?
very peaceful man. I
Yes,
mean,
indeed, brother Chairman.
like KZ. I've been buying the dip for a few months now.
That's
I'm
enough.
just saying.
Yeah.
Yacht party on my boat.
That's
It's,
enough.
it's coming.
I mean, he's
It's
probably
coming.
going to be the guy that they cut
That's
to
okay.
sign Caleb Barton to a standard NBA deal and then sign a big.
Casualty of war. Oh, let's talk about Caleb Martin. I don't think we gave that boy enough love tonight. That boy trying to dunk on Steven Adams was one of the highlights of the evening for me.
That should tell you something.
Right. Like,
Oh,
He was the one guy that
I
cared
thought
tonight.
I was muted.
yeah, like he gave a shit, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like where we are with Caleb Martin, why everybody's been so high on him, is because he actually plays like he gave a shit. Jonathan, you haven't talked for a long time. Does it matter to you that Caleb Martin gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, it does. In the second quarter, when we had that 8-0 run, it was because of Caleb Martin. He had the tip where he took the ball away from Steven Adams and Jimmy got the dunk off of that. And then he got that second offensive rebound, and I think that ended up creating a Jimmy 3. And, man, his dunks all game, man. Just super energetic, man, getting it, just hustling, right? He was the one guy that seemed he was playing with energy the entire night. He was bringing it the entire night. I mean, we got to give him his love. I felt like he was one of the few players that really just every time he was on the court, I felt like he had a positive impact. He had a steal that passed it out for a hero jam as well. Dude's a baller, man. I love his game.
Yeah, he got MVP chance tonight, and that shit was sickening. Thank you, Jason Adebayo, for the $4.99. Don't know. He said, LOL, Bam is a max player, but don't use him being better than Yurt or Deadman as the reason. we wouldn't miss Mo Bamba on this team.
It's true. These fans don't know what they want. Like,
well, yeah,
as
it'd
soon
be
as a
great to
player
have a
comes
good
back,
backup. Yeah, it'd be great to have a good a couple backup bigs. Sure. Like I don't. Did
pretty
I miss
solid
something with that
song,
comment?
I don't know. I think he's saying that if we replaced Bam with Mo Bamba, then there would be a similar impact on this team.
Oh, get that out of here! Get that out of here, man.
Yeah.
We're comparing Bam Adebayo to Mo Bamba.
That's should be.
Well, then y'all know what time that is. That means it's time.
It's a wrap.
But y'all getting sleepy in the comments. As always, for joining us, making the show much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my man Jonathan Ramakan, Kane, Ricky, Kane, Brian, and Ariel Latias for jumping on here with me. We'll see you guys on Wednesday with an ESPN game. Not Ricky. He's getting suspended for doing that dance.
Whatever, man. It's cool.
Jimmy bucket, clutch time.
Tyler Herro, what a finisher he's become.
Lane, Oladipo, oh! That's right, you better mean mug after you dunk on somebody that way.